Hi friends, good morning. Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. Hello friends, how are you? I'm so happy to see you. Hi friends, hi friends, hi friends, hi friends. What's that? You can't hear me. Let's do it again. Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. Hello, friends, how are you? I'm so happy to see you. Hi, friends, hi, friends, hi, friends, hi, friends. Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. Hello, friends, how are you? I'm so happy to see you. Hi, friends, hi, friends, hi, friends, hi, friends. Hey, Apollo and Annabella, how are you? Hey, Apollo and Annabella, how are you? Hi, Lily. Liliana's here with us, and Apollo, and Annabella. And it's so good to see everybody joining us. I am wearing my astronaut outfit today. Did you notice that? Because I am ready to read a really cool book with you today. We're gonna read a book called My Rainy Day Rocket Ship. So I don't know about you, but I love space. And my camera person just joined me. Sabrina's here, and she's gonna help me film. So let's get it turned around. Let's see, can I do that once it's started? Uh-oh, maybe not. Oh, there it is. Cool. There we are. Thanks, Sabrina. Cool. Thanks, Sabrina. And one more time for everybody joining us. I'll do it with my helmet down. Hello. Whoa. Hello. 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 And how are you? I'm fine. And I hope that you are too. Hello, friends. How are you? I'm so happy to see you. Hi, friends. Hi, friends. Hi, friends. Hi, friends. Hi, friends. Oh, that's hilariously fun. I love to play in my astronaut outfit. As many of you know, I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid. I still want to be an astronaut. I didn't get to be an astronaut because I didn't do the right things in school to get there. And you know what? That's okay, because I did other things to get me to become a teacher and maybe help teach you to become an astronaut. Or maybe you can be somebody that helps astronauts go to space. It takes a lot of teamwork for astronauts to go to space. Isn't that right? Yeah. Well, let's get started. I've got this really great book called My Rainy Day Rocket Ship, and I'm super excited to read it. But as you can see, I have all sorts of books about space. I love reading all about space. So we're going to do that. But I almost forgot something. I wanted to give a special shout out to a friend of mine who made some artwork that I bought. Some of you may remember last week I talked about some creepy artwork. Do you remember when I talked about creepy artwork from my friends Starla and Oaxaca? Well, this is their creepy artwork. Look at this. It's super fun because creepy can be fun and silly. Even though it might look a little scary, the people who made this stuff are really, really nice people. And I am a really nice person, but I like creepy things too. I think it's kind of fun. Just like I like scary movies, right? I like creepy things. Like, look at these creepy dolls. It's so funny to me. But I love this kitty cat that they made for us because they know how much we love our cats. So thank you, Starla, and thank you, Oaxaca, for all of our amazing creepy art. We love it. We love you so much. And we also appreciate how you donate so much of your proceeds to organizations that are helping animals and organizations that are helping people. So if you want to support their art, you can check out Oaxaca online. I'll put a link in the comments when I get this all uploaded if you're interested. Okay, thanks Starla, thanks Oaxaca. Let's get started with our book, shall we? Rainy Day Rocket Ship. And look, I have my rocket ship here. This was made for me by my friend Max Chestnut, who is one of my former preschoolers. Now he's an old kid. He's in high school now. But you know what? Max, once upon a time, made this for me because he knew how much I love space, and he knew that we wanted to talk about space together. Okay, my rainy day rocket ship. And this is written by Shepard, illustrated by Charlie Palmer. Mom says it's too rainy to play outside today, so I'll have to find my fun another way. I could get in some laughs with inside toys, cars, and games that bring much joy. Look at that. He's got a soccer ball, teddy bear, a couple other stuffies, football, car. It's got a lot of fun stuff. But I've been there and I've done that stuff. Today, I want to make something really tough. Like a whole new world in a different place, in a galaxy off in outer space. I'll need a rocket to get me there. How about this rocking chair? Look at his dog friend. Maybe he's going to be a co-pilot, right? And I need a super launching pad. This will require some tools from my dad. And you can see his dad is helping him right here. They're getting together the tools they need for him to be able to build that rocket ship. Remember we talked about teamwork? That's some teamwork happening right there. A cardboard box and a bunch of socks. This is using his imagination, right? He's building this rocket ship out of cardboard and socks. That's using creativity. That sounds like ingenuity. That's a big word for using your brain to think of new things. This will surely serve me well. On this mission, I cannot fail. Now let me see about a spacesuit. These swimming trunks and goggles should do. I like wearing swimming trunks too. Of course, astronauts need a flag. Perhaps I can use Mom's old dish rag. Do you all see the dish rag flag? Hey, that rhymes. Dish rag flag. Now if I can just get Mom to turn off the light, this astronaut's crew is ready for flight. They're ready to blast off, aren't they? Should we count down? Let's count down together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! And he uses his imagination, and him and his dog blast off, ready for flight. I forgot. They did their own countdown. Let's do it again. Dad does a countdown from behind the couch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mom makes sure that I don't feel an ouch. That's really kind to make sure that all systems are go and he's healthy and safe. Zoom, zoom, zoom. All the way from the living room down the hall, riding on a broom. He's using the broom as a rocket ship. That's so clever. Look at that. He's got his astronaut outfit, his goggles, his rocket ship. Oh, there's the dog leading the way. That's so fun. Prepare for landing on planet XYZ. It's a safe arrival in my BED, also known as the land of Z's. Do you all know what Z's mean when we see the letter Z written out a lot like that? That means that somebody's sleeping. So if you see Z's, that means that somebody is going just like that. Wow, that was great. He used his imagination to create a whole world where he had his rocket in his room and they blasted off to other planets. That was so cool. Friends, it's so important for us to do things where, just like him, we use our imagination, right? And our imagination is what we use to create new things. And without imagination, all of the things that we love in the world wouldn't exist right now, because it's taken a lot of people, a lot of thinking with their brains to come up with new things. Like, for example, how somebody came up with a cat door to let the cats in and out as they please when they come inside and outside from their catio. Somebody also had to think of, wow, what happens if I take this metal and I make it into a bowl and I strike it? And they come up with the singing bowl. And it's used for mindfulness and deep breathing. Let's take a breath together. Ingenuity and creativity give us so many great things in the world. But back to rockets. Our friend wanted to be an astronaut, right? So he used his creativity and he made it happen, just like my friend Max made me this amazing rocket in preschool when we were together. But let's talk a little bit more about rockets and how they work. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to draw a rocket. Yes, Sabrina.
Are those permanent markers or dry erase markers?
They are dry erase markers. Good question. For those of you that remember, I drew with permanent marker on my dry erase board, so that was a big mistake for me. Okay, so first of all, what is a rocket? Rocket. There's our word rocket. What is a rocket? Does anybody know? A rocket is a machine or a group of things all put together to blast off from the ground and go either high in the sky or even higher to space. So, rockets usually look like this. There's a pointy top, and then there's a big part in the middle. That's the fuselage. And then there's like a rocket or an engine right at the bottom. And inside, we have two different tanks. And inside one tank is hydrogen. That's one of the elements of matter. That's one of the things that we are all made up of. We have a lot of hydrogen in our body. In fact, hydrogen is also most found in water. So we have hydrogen here, and then we have here propellant. Maybe it's kerosene, maybe it's methane. And when those come together, they mix. One line here goes to the other line here, and they go down, and when they mix, it creates a big blast of fire. And when that fire comes out of that nozzle right there, it propels the rocket to go up. So without all this fire down here, our rocket can't get off of the ground because it's trying to escape gravity. That's right. When I let go of this, gravity makes it fall. So if a rocket doesn't have this propellant inside to blast it off and lift it up, it's just going to fall back down to Earth. So it needs to escape gravity. And so it needs to do that. In fact, I have here another example right here. This is from the book Moon Landing. And remember we talked about teamwork needed to get things off of the ground? Before they went to the moon, they had to practice. And they built smaller rockets, well, not that small, but they built smaller rockets to try out all of their hardware and their machines and their computers. So they first built a redstone rocket. Look at this. Let's blast off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! And you can see all of that fire coming out of the bottom of the redstone rocket. And we can look at the rocket right here. Now, we already know because of where we saw our rocket propellant, right? If we have our rocket propellant right here inside, that's just like here. There's propellant inside there, and it's coming out of the bottom to produce this thrust, right? And that's how it gets off. That's how it gets off of the launch pad. Right here is where the astronaut is. There's one person inside there. One person. His name was Alan Shepard. He got to go to space. But you know what? Friends, you know how we talked about racism before? Alan Shepard got to go to space because he was a really good pilot. And he was very smart. And he was very clever. He was really good at his job. But another thing that Alan Shepard was, in the 1950s when he was selected to be America's first astronaut, he was also a white man, which means that he was able to go because he was a white-colored person and because he was a boy. They weren't letting any girls go to space yet, and they weren't letting anybody go to space that didn't have white skin. I don't know about you, but I wanted to go to space when I was a kid, and I would have felt really sad if they said, sorry, Bando, nobody with curly hair is allowed to go to space. I would have been really upset. And you know what? When our friend here in the book dreams about going to space, was there anybody in this book saying, no, you can't go to space because you're black? No, there wasn't. He had his parents encouraging him. But I don't know, this didn't show him in school. What if when he got to school, oh, sorry, Pee-wee, I didn't see you there, buddy. Oh, buddy. What if when he got to school, his friends said, you can't go to space. There's no black astronauts. Would that be fair or unfair, Pee-wee? What do you think? I don't think Pee-wee cares. Pee-wee's a cat. He doesn't care about those things, but we care about those things.
Since Alan Shepard, have there been any women or non-white people to go to space?
Yes, that's where I was getting at, but my friend Pee-wee interrupted me. I always love taking a cat break. So, when Alan Shepard was selected, there was no black astronauts and there was no female astronauts. But then people started to realize, wait a minute, this isn't very fair. We need to let women become astronauts too. And then they realized, wait, we need to let more people become astronauts. We need to let our black friends become astronauts. We need to let our brown friends become astronauts. We need to let our friends from other countries become astronauts because we're all working together and we want space to be fair for everybody. So the first black astronaut that went to space, his name was, he was the second. But my favorite black astronaut is Ronald Mcnair. Ronald Mcnair went up in the Space Shuttle Challenger. And unfortunately, the Challenger exploded in an accident. And we lost Ronald Mcnair. But he's going to be remembered always as a pioneer. We also have Mae Jemison, who was the first black female astronaut. Remember her? We talked about her in the book Mae Amongst the Stars. So I loved reading about her and all of her things that she did in space. There are so many people that have gone to space and have traveled there, but there have only been a handful of black astronauts. In America, there's only about 5 astronauts that have been black. So what we're trying to do is we want to create a world where no matter what your skin color is, and no matter if you're a boy or a girl or anybody in between, you can go to space and you can do these things. Yes, Sabrina?
The first black astronaut was John Bluford?
Yes, John Bluford. That's his name. I knew when I was saying Ronald Mcnair, I'm like, wait a minute, he wasn't the first. John Bluford was the first one. Thank you to my researcher, Sabrina. It's very important to know who was the first. He was the first black boy astronaut, and Mae Jemison was the first female black astronaut. Really important. I have something really cool to share with you. Are you ready? I have something really, really cool to share. Yes, Sabrina.
Before, I wanted to say Frank Tejada says thank you for bringing equality into the space conversation.
Absolutely, Frank. Thank you for being here with us. You know what, friends? My buddy Frank is really special to me because, as many of you know, I have an injury to my brain. And my friend Frank understands because he also has an injury to his brain. Frank also understands how some of this hardship can be because my buddy Frank's skin is brown. What if I said, Frank, you can't be an astronaut because you have brown skin? Would that be fair for my friend Frank? I don't think so. So that's why we're talking about this, because we want to make space fair for everybody. It doesn't matter if you have curly hair or straight hair or dark skin or light skin. We're going to make sure we create space and Earth as a place that is equal and fair for everybody.
Who is your favorite? This is my question. Who is your favorite female astronaut besides Mae Jemison?
My favorite female astronaut besides Mae Jemison is Valentina Tereshkova. Are you surprised?
Not Sally Ride?
I was going to say Sally
Oh,
Ride.
okay.
I love them both.
Okay.
I can love all of them. But I picked Valentina Tereshkova because she actually was the very first female astronaut in the whole world to go to space. Even before our country in America sent a woman to space, Russia said, you know what? We're going to send a woman to space, and they did it in 1965. It was amazing, and she is a hero in Russia. But Sally Ride is another amazing American astronaut. Okay, she was on the space shuttle. Check this out. I think I have a picture of her in here somewhere. The space shuttle, here, let's just show you. There's the space shuttle in space. I know we're doing so much talking, but rockets, look at this. There's that thrust we talked about, right? So without all of that fire coming out of these two solid rocket boosters, this space shuttle is not getting anywhere. It's not going to get up to space. But I have something really cool that I wanted to show you about the space shuttle. Are you ready? Okay, check this out. The space shuttle is covered in something called thermal heat tiles. Right here, you can see there is a technician and they are putting the tiles on the side of the space shuttle. So if you see the space shuttle here, it's all white with some black on the edges, right? Those are all of these tiles. And what those tiles do is it protects the space shuttle when it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere so it doesn't burn up. In fact, here is what it looks like. Here is what it looks like when the space shuttle is coming back to Earth. You can see all of that fire on the underside of it. The space shuttle is being protected by something called a thermal heat tile. The thermal heat tile is what keeps the astronauts safe. And the space shuttle was covered in thousands of them. I have something very special, friends. I have one of those heat tiles. Look at this. This is an orbiter heat tile, and this was to protect the space shuttle. This astronaut walking in space couldn't have done it if they didn't have the heat tiles to protect them on their way there and on their way back. All right, here's how this works. First of all, it's very, very light. It's almost weightless. I can't believe how light it is. It's as light as air, it feels like. 90% of this is air. If you looked at it underneath a microscope, you would see fibers of silica all woven together with pockets of air. And what this does is you can blast it with heat, as much heat as you can imagine. This can get up to 3,400 degrees, over 3,000 degrees hot. It can glow red hot from being that hot. And you don't even believe this. I could touch it and grab it when it's 3,000 degrees. How? Because it's so good at dispersing heat and trapping heat that it doesn't get hot and won't burn my fingers. And so the white part underneath is what is glued onto the metal of the space shuttle. So on this part, blasted with fire coming back in from the friction of re-entry. And the underside is protecting all of the rest. This can get really hot. You can see that whole thick layer. That can get burning, burning hot. But back here and the rest of the space shuttle will stay completely, completely safe. How cool is that? This is one of my prized possessions. The space shuttle isn't here anymore. It got retired. So they're not flying anymore. So this is a piece of history, of space history. Yes, Sabrina?
Where did you get that?
I got this from NASA. Actually, the same group that right here, NASA, that's the Space Academy. Let's see.
Nope. There, yes.
There we go. NASA. They are the National Administration of Space and Aeronautics. And they're the ones that made the space shuttle. They're the ones that made the heat tiles. And when they were retiring the space shuttle orbiters, they gave teachers like me an opportunity to get a tile to share with you, my students. So this was a way that NASA said, keep the education going, keep the outreach going, and you could talk about how cool space is by using a real part of a space shuttle. Now, another question a lot of people ask, they say, Teacher Bando, did this go to space? And I say, no, it didn't go to space, but this was a backup tile for when they come back from space. They always have to repair some. So look at this. This is a close-up of the nose of the space shuttle. And you can see all of those tiles. Can you see how some are dark and some are kind of light? The dark ones are new ones that got replaced recently, and the ones that look lighter are older ones. Each one of these heat tiles has a very specific spot where it has to be, like a puzzle. So the space shuttle is like a puzzle. This only goes in one part of the whole space shuttle orbiter. And so if I'm looking at the space shuttle right here, this tile might only go right there on the edge of the wing, and we would know because it has a number. You see these numbers? That is how the people that put it together know exactly where this part needs to go. Super cool, right? What do you think, Pee-wee? I don't think Pee-wee's too impressed.
Oh, look at Pee-wee's water cup, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Friends, look at this. Look at the cat's water cup. It's actually a space shuttle producing thrust at liftoff. And look at that. It says Shirley. Shirley is the name of Sabrina's grandma. But don't tell Shirley, but our kitty cats love to drink water out of that one. It's pretty funny. We love the space shuttle and the space program here in our house. Yeah, Sabrina.
Where did the space shuttles leave from? And what did it look like in the sky? And could you see them from your house when they went up by chance? Or
Yes, totally. Great question. Okay, when the space shuttle would lift off, it would lift off from Florida. And some of you already know that when I was a kid, I grew up in Florida. And so when the space shuttle would lift off, I was far away from where liftoff was. I was in Miami, but Sabrina was actually really close in Orlando. When the space shuttle lifted off, just moments after liftoff, she could go outside of her house and see it with her eyes in the sky and even hear it. Me, I had to watch it on TV, and after about 90 seconds, at about the point when the solid rocket boosters, those big white tanks, when those fall off, when their fuel is empty, that's when I could run outside, look in the sky, and see it. But when the space shuttle would come back to Earth, after it was protected from it with its thermal tiles, Sabrina could hear the sonic boom, and it went boom, boom, as it came back into the atmosphere. It was going faster than the speed of sound. Really cool. So we're really proud of the space shuttle because it was a part of where we grew up. But I wanted to bring this all back together. And I could talk about rockets all day, you know that. And we'll talk more about rockets because there are so many different kinds of rockets. But I wanted to make sure we remember that space exploration, creativity, and imagination, it's for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are or what your skin color is or how your hair looks or how your voice looks or if you feel like you're a boy or a girl. Whatever you are inside your heart, you can be anything. You can do anything, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Really important. You ready to do some movement, friends? I love jumping jacks. You may have noticed that. Jumping jacks are an easy way for me to move my body, get my heart rate going, and really get the blood circulating in my system. I'm going to push my table over just a little bit to give me some space, and I'm going to get started. But I love the jumping jacks because I think they're so good for my body, and they get my energy up really quickly. We're going to do 3 sets of 10, and we're going to do the countdown blast off. Are you ready? Everybody ready? Okay. All right, let's do it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! That was good. You know what, friends? If you are a young friend and jumping jacks are hard, and that coordination is difficult, that's okay. You can just jump up and down. Jumping up and down with me is perfect. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Or if you have a disability that prevents you from using your legs or your arms, you can just move your arms or just move your legs. And if you can't move your legs and your arms, I want you to do whatever feels comfortable for you to join us. We got 2 more sets. Are you ready? Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! And then we're going to do one more. You ready? We're going to do this one even slower and even bigger. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Woo! Oh, that was fun. I love that. Are you ready for a moment of mindfulness? Bring our energy back down. Woo! Let's do it. Okay. Well, friends, I want you to find a comfy place to sit down. Try to sit up straight and close your eyes. We're going to have some mindfulness. We're going to take a big breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. We're going to do this 5 times. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Again. In through your nose, out through your mouth. 2 more. In, hold, out. One last big one. In through your nose and out.
I missed a few questions, sorry.
That's okay, but before we even get there, thank you for joining me in that moment of mindfulness. I know a lot of you may have even used that thinking about your birthday and breathing in the smell of the cake and blowing out the candles. Right, Sabrina?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Questions?
Yeah.
Donna Gonder would like to know if you can visit NASA.
Oh, Donna, great question. Ooh, there we go. Okay. Can you visit NASA? Yes, you can visit NASA. In fact, they have visitor centers all over the place. There's a NASA in Texas. There's a NASA in Florida. There's a NASA in California, and there's a NASA in Washington.
Alabama.
Alabama. Oh, I almost forgot Alabama. Thank you, Sabrina. Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama is where I got to go to space camp. Space camp for grown-ups was a place that I got to pretend that I was an astronaut. But not just pretend. I got to practice all of the jobs that they do. I got to experience that. And if there's any kids that want to go to space camp, they have space camp for kids too, even more so than they do for adults. But you know what, friends? We can't visit NASA right now because of COVID. So we have to stay home. We have to stay healthy. We have to stay safe, right? We're going to protect each other by wearing masks and staying 6 feet apart. And when it's safe to, we'll be able to go visit NASA. And I encourage everybody to do that.
What are some of the things you see when you visit NASA?
What are some of the things that you see when you see NASA, when you visit NASA? You see rockets. You see spacesuits, right? This is a cool one on the back. Right here, we can see that spacesuit. When you visit NASA, you can see a spacesuit on display, and they'll show you what are the different things that they do. What is this thing on his back? This is Bruce Mccandless. He was the first American astronaut to go on a spacewalk, but he had this thing called the little. It was like a jetpack, and he used it to maneuver around. And he has life support in there, oxygen and water and communications. It's not just like putting on your jacket to go outside in the rain. It takes a lot of teamwork of people making these things. So you see that. You can see astronaut food like space ice cream, which is dehydrated ice cream. It's kind of like chalky, but it's really delicious. And they also have things like the rockets, and they show the different scientists. Like there's a whole display on all of the different scientists and engineers who work behind the scenes to make these things happen. A lot of people we don't see, but it's really important to acknowledge them too. Yes, Sabrina?
Last time you went to NASA, did you happen to see a shuttle on the launch pad that was waiting to go up?
Did I see a shuttle on the launch pad waiting to go up? I did. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see it blast off, but I did see it on the launch pad, and I saw it on the crawler, which is this huge machine that is made to transport the rocket from the building that it's made. So it's like this. Let's pretend this is the building where our rocket gets made. And inside the building they make it. But the launch pad is right over here on this paper. So what we have to do is we need to get our rocket from the building to over there. So what they do is they put the rocket on a transport vehicle. And it's built on the transport vehicle. And then when it's done, it leaves the building on the transport vehicle. And the transport vehicle brings it all the way over to the launch pad. And then when it gets to the launch pad, it even has a ramp where it goes. And then when it's there, it goes 3, 2, 1, just like that. Hopefully it doesn't come down like that. But the transport vehicle is so cool. I'll even draw what it looks like. It's basically a big rectangle. And on the bottom of the rectangle has treads. And maybe you've seen things like tanks before. These treads have little wheels. And surrounding the little wheels are treads. They're belts that go round and around. And so when we see... Oh, good. It wasn't permanent marker, Sabrina. When we have our rocket here, right? Let's draw a rocket. When we have our rocket here, then it has a place to blast off from. And some of you even saw that there are 2 astronauts named Bob and Doug that just went up to space on a Crew Dragon capsule, which is really cool because this new rocket that was made by a person who just had a dream. And he said, I want to build my own rocket and send people to space for less money and do more things for science. And you know what, friends? That person who made this rocket led a team of thousands of people. So all of those thousands of people used teamwork to make it happen. And guess what? Were all of the people who made the rocket white-skinned people? No. They're brown and black and white and everything in between because they work together to form a partnership of all sorts of people. Because you know what? They knew that it took teamwork to make it happen. And just like our friend here in my rainy day rocket ship, that person who made this rocket also was a kid who had dreams. So if you have dreams and you want to build rockets, you can do it. If you have things that you want to do, you probably will have somebody in your life at some point say, you know what? I don't think you should do that. You should do this other thing. Don't listen to them. Say, no, I can do it. I can do anything I put my mind to, right? Just like our book, I'm going to push through. If I can believe it, if I can dream it, and I work hard enough, anything is possible.
Britt Basinger says, thank you so much for having us. Oliver and Lucy in Idaho are so glad we caught you both.
Thank you, Britt. Thank you, Lucy. Lucy and who?
Oliver.
Oliver. Thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Lucy. As we're talking, I'm going to set up my base. We got a little loop going. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, Sabrina.
A lady, very nice lady named Ellen Blake would like to know how old you were when you went to space camp.
Oh, thanks for the question, Mom. Anybody who doesn't know, that's my mom. Hi, Mom. How old was I when I went to space camp? I was 37. Does that sound right? 36?
It was 5 years ago, right?
So 36.
Yeah.
I was 36 years old. But as my mom knows, it's been a lifelong dream of mine. So, Ma knows, hi Pee-wee, Ma knows it's been a lifelong dream of mine to go to space camp. I didn't get to go when I was a kid, so I got to go when I was a grown-up. And it was so cool, Mom. Let's see, let's get a little loop going. There we go. Okay, we got that going.
What kinds of things did you do at space camp?
What kind of things did I do at space camp? I got to go on the anti-gravity trainer, which is like a thing that they'll put you in and it helps you bounce around with low gravity to mimic what it's like on the moon. Because the moon has microgravity. If we look at our astronauts that are here on the moon, here's a photo of Buzz Aldrin. And Buzz Aldrin, when he was on the moon, you can see here, let's see, he bounced around. So I got to do that. That was really cool. I got to eat astronaut food. I got to, let's see, where's the page of
Did you go in that spinny thing?
You know what? I had the option to go in the spinny thing, and I said no thank you because I get too dizzy. So here is their LEM. This is the lander that they had when they went to the moon. And you can see them there saluting the flag. Can you see that? So that's them there on the moon in microgravity. That has a fraction of the Earth's gravity. But it's really cool to use a trainer to give me an idea of what that must have been like. Instruments at your house, friends? If you have instruments, join along with me. If you have shakers, if you have drums, you might have a little maraca. And you know what? You don't even need that. You can just clap with your hands. You can go like this. Yes, Sabrina.
I have another question.
What's your question?
Have only humans been to space?
No, that's a great question. Humans have not only been the only ones to go to space. Russia sent some dogs to space. One of them is famous for being the first animal to go into space. Her name was Laika. And then there were some monkeys and chimps named Ham that America sent to space. To be honest, I wasn't very happy to hear about how those animals went to space because those animals didn't get a choice and they were very, very scared. But it gave the scientists some of the ideas of how they could send people. I just wish they sent people instead because they knew that it was going to work. Yes, Sabrina.
Cecilia said, I lived in Miami for a year and I went to visit NASA. It was so cool. Thanks for reminding me all about it.
Yeah, Cecilia, you know what's up. It is so cool to see the space shuttle up close, isn't it? You know, when you can see it launching in the sky, it reminds you how big it is and how powerful it is. And, you know, it's cool. The space shuttle, when it's fully loaded up with its 2 solid rocket boosters and its main external fuel tank and the orbiter where the people are in, there's about 5 to 8 astronauts in the space shuttle. It weighs over 4 million pounds. 4 million pounds with all of the propellant just to get it to space. And it's 4 million pounds. Do you know how long it takes to get to space? Only 8.5 minutes. That's it. Only 8.5 minutes is nothing. That's unbelievable. So, you know, I just think it's amazing how we've used technology. But now my challenge to you, the kids, the future. Here's the challenge. How do we get to space? We talked about racism and making space more equitable, right? Fair for everybody. Now, how do we make space more environmentally friendly? What do I mean by that? Well, when we look at a rocket launch, right, and we saw the Redstone rocket launch up, it produces all of this thrust from these propellants. But you know what? Those propellants produce a lot of pollution. Have we heard about pollution? and how pollution is really bad for the environment. Pollution is more garbage for the environment. And that can just be garbage from the garbage that we make. It could be maybe Pee-wee not finishing his food. It could be the smoke from the back of our cars. Or it can be the exhaust from a rocket. So when I see a rocket here like this, it makes me think we could do so much better. Maybe we can make rockets that don't need all of that thrust. Well, they need the thrust, but maybe we can produce rockets that burn clean fuel, that burn fuel that doesn't produce a lot of pollution. Maybe we can power rockets using water. Maybe we can power rockets using air. Maybe we can power rockets using solar energy. So my challenge is, how do we make rockets that are better for the environment and help humans keep going with our space exploration? Thank you for joining me today. Let me know what you want to talk about in the future. I've got so many books that I'm excited to read, but I also want to hear what excites you. What do you want to read about? Do you want to read more about cats? Do you want to read more about rockets? Do you want to read more? Do you want to read more about equality? Do you want to read more about animals? Do you want to read more about music? Do you want to read more about art, transportation, trucks, berries, vegetables, fruits, cars, giraffes, violins, drums, rockets, again, seahorses, airboats, blimps, environmentalism. Well, you know me. I could talk all day, and I love being here with you. So thank you, everybody, for joining Teacher Bando. I'm going to be signing off. Yes, Sabrina.
Lucy would like to read books about Pee-wee.
Lucy, I would love to read books about Pee-wee. I think I have a book about cats. Lucy, thank you for that great suggestion. We'll read a book about cats someday. What do you think, Pee-wee? Do you think that's a good idea? Oh, look at that. He likes that idea. Good thinking, Lucy. Thank you. Yeah.
And Frank says, Brandon, I'm looking forward to having kids to have Uncle Bando and Aunt Sabrina take them to magical places, traveling without moving.
Wow, Frank, I appreciate that. What Frank is saying is, it's really great to stay connected even through the computer. You know, we could all be together. I so appreciate you being here with me and spending this time together, learning about rockets, listening to the bass guitar, listening to the tinka-tong, learning about heat tiles and heat displacement. I love this stuff. So I want to make sure I stay connected with all of you. Yes. Thank you, Frank.
I have a question. What is your favorite space vehicle?
What's my favorite space vehicle? While I'm answering this, before we go, tell me what your favorite space vehicle is too. I want to hear that. I asked that question last week, and I don't think I fully answered it or asked it. So what's your favorite vehicle that has gone to space? What is mine? Mine is definitely the space shuttle. Mine is the space shuttle because, again, it was the first rocket that was reusable. Not the whole thing, but the orbiter part here in the middle. They could launch it and then return it like an airplane. That had never been done. And so this is just the most complex thing that humans have ever built. This and the space station. But they wouldn't have been able to build the space station if they didn't use the space shuttle to get the parts there. Really interesting. Does anybody have a favorite rocket or a favorite spacecraft?
Axe Haka says thank you for taking us to space.
You're very welcome, Starla and Axe Haka.
My favorite is
I'm
the
so
Saturn.
glad you could
Oops,
join
sorry.
us. What, Sabrina?
My favorite is the Saturn V.
Ooh, Sabrina, good one. Saturn V. Saturn V is a good one. Sabrina, what did the Saturn V do?
Go to the moon.
It went to the moon. That's the one that went to the moon. So the Saturn V was the biggest rocket that was ever built, and still is the biggest rocket that's ever been made. And they needed that to get all the way to the moon, which is 240,000 miles away. Really far away.
Your mom says mine is the lunar vehicle that was used on the moonwalk.
Ma, that's a good one. So we've got that one right here, right? We got to show that one earlier. Let's see. The orbiter right here that went to the moon, right? It blasted off here. The astronauts are inside this capsule. You can see them inside there. And then back in here is all of their propulsion and all of their machine stuff. And then this whole thing turns around and then docks with the top of the rocket. The top of the rocket opens up, and inside is the lunar lander. And right there is what my mom is talking about. And then they bring this to the moon, and you can see when they get to the moon, there goes my rocket. They get to the moon, they wear their spacesuits. Here we are. Let's move my base, there we go. That is the lunar lander that my mom was talking about. The lunar lander is what the astronauts used to sustain their life on the moon, and they were able to walk around. And when my mom was young, when she was much younger, and because this was a long time ago, she got to watch this on television. She saw people land on the moon for the first time. I wish I was alive to see that, because that is a human first. That was an amazing thing. And remember, we talked about the hidden figures who worked behind the scenes. There were black women doing calculations for math. There were Latino people working on systems and engineering. But only the white people were on the moon. So we need to make sure we create a world where anybody can go to the moon. It doesn't matter who you are or where you came from. What matters is that you work hard, you try hard, you're kind, you're caring, and you believe in yourself and you believe in others. So friends, thank you so much for joining me today. I love talking about space with you. I love talking about my heat tiles with you. And I loved reading my rainy day rocket ship. So thank you for everybody that joined. And remember, if you want some creepy art, go find some creepy art at Oaxaca. So thank you, Oaxaca, for our creepy art and for our kitty stuff. Pee-wee and Lois say thank you. I love you all, and I will see you next week. Signing off for now, blasting off. Bye, friends.